I'm muting everybody in the meantime, and the co-host can automatically.
Hello? Huh?
Yeah, we are on.
We can,
we are on. We can start.
Okay. So can we hear me?
Yes.
Am I clear? Okay. Okay. Good evening, my DG.
Okay, just 2 cartons of Henneken can.
Good evening, my DG, district officers.
Yes, good evening, I can hear you.
Okay, district officers, Rotarians, and friends of Rotary. I warmly welcome you to today's webinar, our ROTAKIDS awareness webinar. I'll go right ahead to invite PAG Leke, first of all, to before that, we'll start with the silent invocation for just a minute.
Good evening, my DG. Good evening, District Chair, ROTAKIDS. Good evening.
My district chair, you need to unmute.
Okay. May all our prayers be answered. Thank you very much. So I'll quickly call on our PAG for a short song to start, just to put us on the right, get us in the right atmosphere.
My chair, I think we shouldn't take a song. Let me just go ahead and declare this open.
Okay.
Yes, then you can proceed. But I think we shouldn't do a song. Instead, since we have some international people participating, so that we don't take their time, we don't know what exactly is the time over there, so that we don't keep them waiting for long. So let them go ahead and make their presentations, and we discuss them. Then after that, we can carry on with the other things. Yes.
Okay,
so,
thank you, my DG.
Yes.
Okay, so
I will now take the driver's seat by saying thank you very much to your committee and chair and all your members for putting this together, because I think it's a very good thing. The Rota Kids, we were doing very well in it, and actually the main first one we had was domiciled the Rotary Club of Jabi Lakeside, and we have been doing well on that, but it's like we are lagging behind now. That's why we thought we should resuscitate that. I'm glad that you're taking steps to make sure that the Rota Kids is revived and made fully active. Every hand should be on deck to make sure that we do the right things. And I can guarantee you that the district office will do all that we can to support you, to make sure that you deliver on your mandate. We've gotten about 4 months into the Rotary year, and things are moving so fast. So I would like that all your plans and activities, you should go ahead and deal with them, and wherever you need support from the district, we'll be able to give that. So I really thank all of you for attending, for those who have come and those who are yet to come. Excuse me, I've checked, you don't have too many people, only about 34. We're expecting a lot more to join. So I will indulge, ask for your kind indulgence for us to please keep the time, and that our international people give us what they can give to us, and then we derive the full benefit of this webinar. Thank you, and God bless all of you. I'm so happy for me to be here, and I'm glad on that note to declare this open. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, my DG. Thank you so much. So once again, I want to welcome all of us to this webinar. We have just 35 people. Like he said, we're hoping for more people to join us. But I will just go on quickly to give a brief overview A brief overview.
Just come and bring the card only. Come back. It's all life. We have life. Yeah, I'm going to I can.
I'll just give a brief overview of ROTAKIDS. So like we all know, what is very popular in Rotary is the Interact, Rotaract, and then the Rotary. ROTAKIDS is not very popular in Rotary International yet, and that is why we have decided to organize this webinar so that more people the world over are more aware of what ROTAKIDS is all about, and so that they will get support and get more ROTAKIDS clubs chartered. Basically, ROTAKIDS is for children of primary school age, between the ages of 7 and 12 years old. It's a watered down version of the Interact and Rotaract clubs. It could be community based or it could be school based, meaning children of primary school age may be put together to form a Rotary club, or children within that same age from a community can be brought together to form a Rotary Kids club. It's basically that. And the onus lies mostly on club presidents to charter Rotary Kids clubs. And then the sustainability of Rotary Kids also depends on the sponsor clubs. Most times, the projects carried out are expected to be in line with the 7 areas of focus. And it's always encouraged that the children are the ones to come up with these projects. So the support is required from clubs, from the school or community under which the Rotary Kids is chartered, and then from the parents of the Rotary Kids as well. That's basically it. So I would call on our first speaker quickly, PP Annie Abasanga. She's a Rotary Kids ambassador. She'll be taking us on the history of Rotary Kids and the journey so far. So I want to call on, I would like to call on PP Annie to give her presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, my DG, fellow Rotarians, and our able district chair. Can I share my screen, please? Okay, I'm going to skip the second topic for the first. About the history of Rotary Kids, how Rotary Kids came about in District 9125 and West Africa in general. I was a president of Rotary Club of Abuja Jabi Lakeside 2017-2018 Rotary year as an ultimate president. And I used to take my daughter everywhere I go, all the Rotary clubs I visit. And I came up with, I was like, so how do I make her learn from Rotary and not take her to where adults are gathering because of language and every other thing, and not for her age? So one day I spoke to Rotarian Funshaw. I will still give him part of the glory. He went on the journey with me. We talked about it and I made different researches. We made it together. And I found out that there's actually Rotary for children from the ages of 7 to 12 years old. So I put the documents together, spoke to, fortunately, it's amazing. Our DG right now was my assistant governor. So I spoke to him, I spoke to my district governor at that time, PDG Unoka, and he agreed that I should go on with the plan. So my daughter attends Care and Cuddles school, so it was easy for me to charter a club. It was easy for me to charter a club there. So I spoke to Rotary and Ngwavisi, and we went ahead with the plan. The day came, and the district governor at that time could not attend, so he sent a representative, that is PDG Victor Onokuga. So when he came there, he was like, Annie, I'm really impressed with you. I know a lot about ROTAKIDS. And I was like, oh, wow. So PAG Leke was there, former district governor, Ayo Yeduku was there. A lot of people were there at that point, and we chartered our first ROTAKIDS in the district and in West Africa. So that was how ROTAKIDS came about. That was on the 22nd of September, 2017. So that was how ROTAKIDS came about. So I'm going to give a brief history on ROTAKIDS. So this is what the ROTAKIDS logo look like. So you can actually, okay, before you charter a ROTAKIDS club, they're supposed to come from a sponsor club. Not just the president is supposed to agree. The club comes together because it's a group thing. The club comes together and say, okay, I want to charter a ROTAKIDS club, and everybody has to be involved. You get a school or you go to community-based. When I checked on the list, I was so glad to see that there was a community-based ROTAKIDS. So you get a school. It's easier to create a ROTAKIDS club in a school because the school is already formed, the ages are easy to get and all. So you get the club involved, which is the sponsor club. You get a school, you give them Rotarian. Charity is going to talk about, I don't want to talk about what she's going to talk about. She's going to give you how to charter a ROTAKIDS, all the breakdown. And you get all your papers ready, the consent, the parents have to have consent, give their consent, because most times we upload the pictures online. So some parents don't agree to sign the consent letters. And if they don't agree, there's nothing you can do about it. They can be ROTAKIDS, but they don't have to appear in the pictures. So you get the consent letter, the club has to agree, the ROTAKIDS, the school has to agree, you work together, and there's supposed to be a Rotarian from the club that will be responsible for these children. They go for their meetings. So to make it easy, you just make one of the teachers a Rotarian. So the teachers, one of the teachers in the school can actually teach the children what he or she learns from Rotary. So it's so easy that way. And the children come up with their projects, you assist them to come up with their projects, they raise funds for themselves. Like the first project that Care and Cuddles, ROTAKIDS of Care and Cuddles did, they did handmade beads. I have photos to show for it. They did handmade beads and they auctioned it to their parents and they raised funds and they used it to do their projects. So that's just like a brief history of how to charter a ROTAKIDS. ROTAKID was founded by Sheme Curry, and he's from Brazil. And these are the ambassadors of ROTAKIDS in the world. And I'm a ROTAKID ambassador in the world. I'm there. What is ROTAKIDS? To bring down my ROTAKIDS is a club for children under the ages of 12. So it's from 7 to 12 years old, from primary 1 to primary 6. It's an initiative created from the Rotary principles and the idea of the children's awareness of their responsibilities to society and the world as best step to make its citizens in its fullness. What is the purpose of ROTAKIDS? The purpose is to support opportunities for children to organize themselves in groups, exercise leadership, and receive the seed of Rotary ideals. most of the things that we teach the kids are from what we know as Rotarians. 7 areas of focus, the aim and objectives of Rotary, our 4-way tests, which we abide by, and all of it. The aims of ROTAKIDS. ROTAKIDS provide the young kids with the opportunities to gain and increase awareness of knowledge in the society. ROTAKIDS comes up with their ideas of project fundraising for charity. That's their project that they do, and improve the environment. That's where the 7 areas of focus come in to improve the environment. So that's why we encourage them to do tree planting and recycling of plastic bins. At this young age, all growing kids can easily be encouraged to be caring and helpful. For this, we did a project in 2018-2019 Rotary year, where I took the kids. I was district chair for ROTAKIDS. I took the kids to a school that is meant for just kids from IDP camp. And the kids were so amazed how, our ROTAKIDS were so amazed how they are blessed to be in that position where they are. So they were out of this world. They had to show care to other people that are less privileged, because the kids are from IDP camps. There's a school that took them in, clothe them, feed them, educate them, and take them back at the end of the day to IDP camp. ROTAKIDS promotes the understanding and building of friendship among ROTAKIDS. ROTAKIDS grow confidence and self-esteem. I can say that my child is an evidence of ROTAKIDS. ROTAKIDS helped her to grow her self-confidence and self-esteem. ROTAKIDS learn to appreciate and celebrate the diversity of Nigeria's heritage, culture, and its heritage. So we teach ROTAKIDS in Nigeria, in District 9125, this is our culture. You have to embrace it, how the heritage and what Nigeria is all about generally. The objectives of ROTAKIDS. Sowing the Rotary ideas amongst children. I've said that before. It's very important. We teach the ROTAKIDS things about Rotary, stimulate constructive leadership and your own exercise. ROTAKIDS teaches kids how to be good leaders. Family importance of awareness, learn to respect the rights of each, recognize the credits of all professions, foster love of nature and the need for its preservation to promote the value of citizenship. So this, there was the first ROTAKID that was chartered in District 9125, in West Africa, in Nigeria, and in Abuja. It was chartered on the 22nd of September, 2017, and it was sponsored by the Rotary Club of Abuja, Jabi Lakeside. You can see pictures. This is PAG Lekki here. This is the PDG Victor Nokuga, and they planted a tree. That was their first project. These are the ROTAKIDS in District 9125. That's the list I can get. We told them to to register their ROTAKIDS. These are all the names I could get. The ROTAKIDS of Care and Cuddles is sponsored by the Rotary Club of Abuja, Jabi Lakeside. ROTAKIDS of Towering Thoughts is sponsored by a club in Makurdi. I can't remember the name right now. Rotary Club of maybe International School is started by the Rotary Club of Abuja, Jabi Lakeside, and so on. This is the numbers that the ROTAKIDS in the world have. a lot of people charter their Rota Kids Club, but they don't register the Rota Kids Club in the website. So if you don't register the Rota Kids Club in the website, there's no how the Rota Kids portal can say, these are the people, the numbers of people that have been, these are the numbers of kids and the numbers of Rota Kids Club that have been chartered in the world. So we have 6,043 kids, 109 in the district, 297 clubs, and in 33 countries. Okay, so I had to go to the website. This is, if you look at it closely, this is Africa, the map of Africa, and you see Nigeria. And I popped, once I put my mouse on Nigeria, it pops up which club is in Nigeria. As you can see, this is the Rota Kids of Towering Thoughts in Makurdi. I think there is just 2 clubs, and we have over 9 clubs, Rota Kids Club in the world from District 9125. But here it just says 2 clubs. And there are clubs in Lagos, District 9110. There are clubs in District 9141. But I just clicked on this so you can see what the portal looks like. Okay, this was DISCON 2017-2018 Rotary year. And the children of Rota Kids from K and Kodus and another school, they performed at the stage on that day. This was when the past RI president, Barry Rezen, came to, this was in Abuja. He came and the Rota Kids performed too. This was last Rotary year. And this was the chartering of Rota Kids of Towering. I just want to give you, to show you what the clubs look like, what the kids look like, what projects that they've done. This was the chartering of Rota Kids in Towering Thoughts. I had to take my daughter to speak so the kids can relate that, okay, we're on the same page, we are the same age range, and she spoke to Rota Kids of Towering Thoughts. And this was the project tree planting. I want to first apologize because so it doesn't feel I'm biased, but Rota Kids of K and Kodus have done a lot of projects. So I just wanted to showcase what they've done. So they are creating polio awareness. This was our first signage that Rota Kids of K and Kodus did. And you can see the billboard says, "Don't bully, be a friend." That's the message. And this was in 2018-2019 Rotary year. And the kids did a polio billboard that says, "On a mission to end polio now." And that was, okay, Rota Kids of K and Kodus, we went to the school for IDP children. They donated foodstuff, books, writing materials, and the kids were given vitamin A. Yeah. These are other projects, another signage. They're talking about awareness for bullying. And the last picture on my right, we went for, it was a remembrance of road victims that died. Yeah. Okay, so this was how the kids raised money for their project. So they came together. You can see, and that's a teacher there assisting them. So they did the beads and they auctioned it to their parents during project week. I went to Kaduna to charter a Rota Kids Club also. This is sponsored by the Rotary Club of Banawa. PhD Leke went with me. Thank you, my PhD Leke, and another president at my time. This was chartered by Rota Kids, Rotary Club of Maitama. And they did polio awareness too. This little girl I carried, she really wanted to be a Rota Kid, so we had to give her a certificate. She was just 5, but she cried throughout. She said she wanted to be a Rota Kid. What can we do? The DG said, please grant her. This Rota Kid is sponsored by Rotary Club of Otako, and this was their tree planting project. This is sponsored by Rotary Club of Abuja, Jabi Lakeside. You can see the signage behind. They did a signage, tree planting and a signage. That was last Rotary year. And this is the ROTAKIDS pledge. This is what ROTAKIDS is all about in summary. Helping kids to grow into responsible citizens. What more can we say? The ROTAKIDS pledge says, I say it every day to myself. As a ROTAKIDS, I endeavor to be fair to all, to serve my community, and to show respect to others. And I think this is another version of the 4-way test. So I want to plead to clubs that have ROTAKIDS, or you pass the message to clubs that have ROTAKIDS. If you don't register ROTAKIDS on this website, we will never get to RI, Rotary International. We will never. We're trying to hit the numbers so we can. So I heard some years ago that ROTAKIDS is trying to get into the portal so that it will be recognized in Rotary International. So if the numbers don't go up, it's just like when our district is about to be split, the numbers must go up. Membership is important. Membership must go up. So I plead that every club should try and charter a ROTAKIDS club. It's easy for Rotary clubs to have projects with ROTAKIDS. We just encourage them. You have projects with them. You can even use their parents to raise money for foundation. It's so easy. It brings joy to parents when they see their kids doing ROTAKIDS. I've seen it. I've experienced it. So I want to plead to our district governor. Please, I don't know how you're going to do it, but maybe you should talk to presidents too. They need to charter ROTAKIDS club. They need to be encouraged, because a lot of them don't see the need. They say, okay, ROTAKIDS is not in the portal, it's not recognized by RI, there's no point, why waste our time? But we are building this thing for it to get to Rotary International. So it starts by us. It starts with us, from the presidents to the clubs to the districts. Yes, we use these kids to bring entertainment and all that. And I still plead, when it's DISCON, they should still appreciate them, give them awards. They're not competing against themselves, but they're trying to make the world a better place and to pass their message across. Rotary will say, catch them young. These are really the young ones to catch. These kids are super intelligent. I know during my Rotary year, 2017, 2018, PAG Leke used to come to the clubs a lot. They used to ask him so much questions that he got confused. Like, are you really 7? Are you really 8 years old? These kids are so intelligent. They are amazing. You really want to listen to them. They have a lot to offer, and they really have a lot of empathy too. So I'm pleading, we should please encourage ROTAKIDS in the district, in Nigeria, however I want to do it. Let clubs partner with ROTAKIDS. Let ROTAKIDS partner with Interact, Rotaract. And it will make it easier, because the kids raise their own fund. Sometimes the club sponsors the project. And we as Rotarians, we report their project in the portal when they sponsor, when the clubs sponsor the project or otherwise. And Rotary is taking the glory. So why not? So I don't want to take much of our time. Thank you very much for listening, and it's nice to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, PT Annie. Thank you for the insights about what ROTAKIDS is all about. I can feel your passion even through this, even on my computer. Yes, I can feel your passion. I would like to ask that if you have any questions, you can drop your questions in the chat room, so that when it's time for Q&A, any questions you have will be answered. Thank you once again, PP Annie. Please don't leave. There might be some questions that may be addressed to you, especially concerning registering on the Rota
in the world.
In the world, yes, it's very important. It's sad to hear that we have we have a list of 9 and only 2 are popping up.
Yeah.
Only 2. It's sad to hear that. So we may need some guidance on how to go about registering properly. Like you said, the numbers matter.
And if they can't register it, you can actually go on the portal and do it yourself.
Okay.
And help them.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So without much ado, I'll quickly call on the next speaker, Rotary Charity. She has been Rotary Kids coordinator since 2019. And she has done a great job. So she's going to be taking us on how to charter a Rotary Kids club, the step-by-step guide on how to charter a Rotary club. It's really simple. It may seem long, but it's not. It's really easy. So that for those of us that want to and have been confused, will be properly guided. So I will call on Rotary Charity now to give her presentation. Thank you.
Rotary and Charity, you may have to unmute, please.
No, we can't hear you.
We can't hear you. There seems to be some problem with your audio.
She has to accept her audio. Rotary and Charity, if you are using an earpiece, take it off. It's not connecting.
Please.
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry about that. I'll just quickly go on and share my screen. So this is just like a step-by-step guide on how to register or charter a Rotary Kids club in a school. I'll be using a school as my case study because one, I'm a teacher and I'm a coordinator for a Rotary Kids club in a school. So the first thing we are going to need is to find out or to identify the school. Like I said, I'll be using a school. It can be community-based, but we'll find out the primary school with the children, that's the age of the children we are working with. We know they're supposed to be between 7 actually and 12 years. So the classes that they are in, the school, when we get the school, we visit the school with a letter of introduction. And for every certificate I mentioned, I'm going to be sharing snippets of it so we have an idea what these certificates look like. So when we visit the school, we are going to present the Rota Kids letter of introduction. As the name implies, the letter introduces our intentions and also states some benefits of the club because these are people that may not have heard of the club before. So the letter will introduce our benefits, tell the school and the children, the intending kids, because we don't have the charter members yet. So we are going to be speaking to basically everyone that would be in attendance at the meeting per se. So we present this letter. Sorry, my skin seems frozen. So the letter introduces our intentions, and some of the benefits that are on the letter is the motto of the Rota Kids pledge, like Rotary Annie has said. As a Rota Kid, I endeavor to be fair to all, to serve my community, and to show respect for others, which embodies the merits or the benefits of Rota Kids as a club. Apologies, please, my screen isn't going to the next slide. Okay, so I'll just continue, and then when it comes up, I'll just keep sharing. All right, so the benefits we're going to talk to the children about are that Rota Kids as a club aims at building friendships among children, which of course we know makes the world a better place. It teaches them empathy and kindness, respect for all as is found in our pledge, and also community service, okay? And also community service. So that's on the, all right, Rotary and Vijay, thank you so much. So I'm on the, right now we are talking about the introduction, letter of introduction. That's like the third slide, please. Okay, thank you. So this is what the letter looks like. This is what the letter looks like. So as you can see, we have some benefits of Rota Kids as a club. It promotes understanding and building of friendship. It helps, like Rotary Annie has pointed out, it helps with building the self-esteem and confidence of children, because most times they go on projects, they have to give speeches and addresses to audiences. So it helps with their self-esteem. On the next slide, we have a consent form. Like PP Annie said, we have to have, first and foremost, the consent of parents of intending Rota Kids. They will be doing a lot of public social media presence, publicity, so parents have to give their full consent. So it comes in a form. We give the forms to the kids, and their parents have to sign with their full names. Rodran Vijay, can you please go to the next slide for me, please? Thank you so much. So I'd like to show us what the consent form looks like, so that when we take these kids out for project, their parents are aware that they've given their consent that, okay, my child is going to be at this point, at this place, at this particular time. Okay, so my child is going here and doing this and doing that. My child's picture is going to be on social media. We have, we know of data protection rights. So we need the consent of our parents or our intending Rota Kids parents. First, for the child to be in the club, and for their pictures to be used as publicity also. So aside from that, to charter a Rota Kid club, we also need the club certification or registration form. Next slide, please, sir. This is a prerequisite for obtaining a charter certificate from RI, that's Rotary International. So when we fill this form, the form would be signed by the president of the charter president of the Rota Kids Club, by the sponsor, the president of the sponsor Rotary Club, and by the sitting district governor. Now, if any of the signatures are not in place, the form would be invalid, would be considered invalid. So we need the names of the kids, the Rota Kids, their ages, their gender. And when this form is filled, it's handed over to the president of the sponsor club. So it's his or her duty to take it up to the district governor and up until the charter certificate is released to the Rota Kids Club. Next, please. Okay, so once we are informed or once we are informed that, okay, we have interested children and parents, we can now start the charter process. So after that, we have to fix a date. Okay, on my screen right now, or on your screen, is what the charter certificate looks like, or certificate of organization. It certifies or recognizes the fact that that ROTAKID club is in existence. As you can see here, we have the signature of the then president or the president at the time of inauguration, and the district governor. The date and signature of these two persons will be on the charter certificate, and it can be engraved for the school and put up on display at maybe their reception or something. So when we have all these certifications in place, then we can start the process. All right, and on that day, we would need, if possible, a ROTAKIDS club banner. We know what the banner does to inform people around us of what is going on, as an advert for the club to other children in the school. So we will need a ROTAKIDS manual. We'll need collarettes of sharing snippets of what a manual looks like and the contents of a ROTAKIDS manual. We'll need EXCO collarettes. Now, for the first set of EXCOs, they can be appointed. In our school, what we did was we appointed from the highest class of the school. So we have the highest aged children in maturity and in everything, chairing the club for the first year. But subsequently, there has to be elections. So the kids are nominated, they give their manifestos, they tell us why they want to be in any position that they want to be in, and the children elect in a free and fair election process. The results are called out and they are presented with the EXCO members. That's subsequently after the charter year. So to do that, we'll need the ROTAKIDS club banner, manual, collarettes for the children showing their positions, and if possible, ROTAKIDS t-shirts for identification purposes. And then to hold the first meeting, we'll need paraphernalia of the club or fellowship. They'll be needing a bell. They'll be needing a bell, their manuals and stuff. So this is what the ROTAKID manual looks like for our school. This is the cover page on my left. And some contents of the ROTAKIDS manuals are guidelines, which tells the reader what the club is about. Next, please, sir. And there are no dues, like we know it's a free club for children. They do not get to pay dues, but like PP Annie said, when it's time for projects, we can get financial support from their parents, from the sponsor club. The children can do fundraisers. They can sell stuff or give speeches at events and raise funds for projects. So they are not taxed. Number one, they are children. They are not taxed for club dues and all of that. So for our club, on our manual, we have our club officers and their responsibilities, because they are kids. Sometimes they might forget. They might get carried away with schoolwork and all of that. So sometimes they might need a reminder. So we have it printed on our manual. The ROTAKIDS officers or officials and their clubs, and their responsibilities, which serves as a reminder to the children, and to, if we have visitors in our meetings, they know what each person is and what they are doing. And also we have some songs. This is just one of them. We have ROTAKIDS songs. We teach the children the songs. Now, before the day of, or on the day of the chartering of the club, we can even teach the children songs so that it's lively. The children get to sing the song. We can share the manuals, the pre-printed manuals, of course, to them, so they follow through with the process. They're not just sitting and looking and wondering, because number one, I'm a teacher, so we find a way to make it child-friendly and interesting for them. They are not full-blown Rotarians, so they may not understand the nitty-gritties of club meetings and fellowships. So we try to make it as fun-filled as possible. So we teach them some songs. We enlighten the kids on the 7 areas of focus, because this is where their projects will be based on. So on that day, we tell them the 7 areas of focus, and they can even come up with ideas or project ideas based on those areas. For example, if it's supporting the environment, they can tell, oh, they want to have trees planted in their environment. They want to have recycle bins installed to help with waste management. We have kids come up with amazing ideas because they are the forerunners of their club. So we just act as support staff, coordinators, but we let the kids, they have the power per se to tell us what they would like to see happen in their club. And then the inauguration proper. And after their inauguration, the president is guided on how to host the club. So the president is allowed to host the club, the first meeting for the day, and subsequently, of course, with the help of the club coordinators, which, like Pipi Annie has suggested, can be teachers and made Rotarians, so they know what is expected of it as a body of as an arm of the Rotary body, and they also know what is expected of children. So the teacher / Rotarian / coordinator helps to marry everything together. There's a correlation somewhere. Okay, and then we encourage the coordinators to have communication channels. It could be WhatsApp, it could be Telegram, of their parents to share ideas, to give feedback on what the club is doing. So in our school, we have a WhatsApp group for just our ROTAKIDS parents. When it's time for projects, we post things on it. When we go out for projects, we give them feedback on what their children have been up to. So it keeps them abreast of the club activities. And also when it's time for financial support too, they know we're not just coming to them the first time. They already know that, okay, this is the process. This is what is happening in the club. Okay, and on the day of inauguration, of course, for kids, we always love to have refreshments for the visiting Rotarians, because we're supposed to have as many visiting Rotarians as possible, especially the club president, the DG, if possible, his or her presence will help to make it more memorable for the children. They know that, okay, we are important to these people. They're leaving whatever they have to do to come help us do this, to come cheer us up. So for them, it's a big deal. The presence of Rotarians, club presidents, especially the charter club, the sponsor club presidents, visiting Rotarians, so they know that, okay, this is actually a big deal. So refreshments should be made available. And then the certificate of organization or charter certificate. After the inauguration, the sponsor club president has to see through that the charter certificate is signed and handed over to the ROTAKIDS club. Okay, now all the certificates and forms that I've been talking about can be gotten from the sponsor club. The sponsor club can help provide copies of these forms and certifications. So if you're a school here, or the owner of a school, or a school head, or a teacher, and you seem interested, you can locate a Rotary club and indicate your interest for a ROTAKID club to be chartered in your school. So you know that, okay, these are the certificates and your requirements, and the club can help you get that. Some have to have the letterhead of the club, some have to have the letterhead of the school. Both the school logo and the club logo have to be on the letter, like the consent form. The logo of the school and the logo of the sponsor club can both be on the consent form for the parents to see, so that they can track the activities to a parent body in the Rotary family. So that will be all from me. And of course, you should also, as a coordinator, remind the persons involved, if you cannot do it, like Pipiani has said, the need for your club to be registered on the appropriate portals for proper identification. So if we have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them. And I want to thank my hosts and my amazing Rotary family for giving me this opportunity to share my little knowledge. For me, as a coordinator, it has been lots of fun working with children and helping them grow into responsible citizens. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rotary and Charity. Thank you very much. You've given us a step-by-step guide on chartering Rotary Kids clubs. I want to just reiterate on consent forms. Now, at the point of chartering a Rotary Kids club, we give out the forms, but there's something that happens along the way that I think we need to address, and we need to ensure that we're very mindful of. At the point of chartering, okay, you know, every year kids become mature. They mature into the next class. So after, for every session, assuming you charter a Rotary Kids club in a school, we must always remember that the consent forms must be given every year to the new class. So, you know, children graduate from nursery 2 to primary 1. So, and when they indicate interest, there's a tendency that we may forget to give those consent forms. We must never forget to give those consent forms. It's really important. You cannot have a Rotary Kid that does not have the approval of their parents. It's part of the prerequisites for being a Rotary Kid. The WhatsApp group too for parents is encouraged because they need to know what's going on. Like Rotary Charity said, they need to know what's going on, they need to know what kind of exposure their children are having. And we also have to encourage the parents to participate in these projects. We must remember to invite them to be part of the projects so that the kids see that they are actually interested and identifying with them. For the forms, the youth service chairs in clubs can liaise with the district chair for documentation. It's always available, soft copies that can be shared. All you have to do is print them out. And like Rotary Charity said, the certificate has to be signed by the club president and the DG. So the youth service chair charters the club and makes sure she follows up with the club president, who makes sure that the DG signs. And I would like to also say that in this district, I'm always available to give guidance virtually and physically where possible. So I can be called upon at any time to help. Today, I was at Lumawo School, a school in Abuja. We went for the orientation session for the staff of the school with, I think, Rotary Club of Aso Golf. It's very important. Usually you do the first meeting with them and then they invite you to come speak to the children, because the children are the ones that are going to explain to their parents what that consent form is all about. They will tell them this is what was said in school, I'm interested in the club. And then they're the ones that will convince their parents to sign these consent forms. So I want to thank Rotary and Charity once more for her wonderful presentation. If you have any questions, you can post them. At the end of the whole session, we'll answer the questions to be answered. Without much ado, I will call on the next speaker, PP George Hemba, to give us his presentation on the role of local clubs and the sustainability of ROTAKIDS. I hope George Hemba is around.
Thank you very much, Chair. A very good evening, a very good morning, and a very good morning, a very good afternoon.
George Hemba. Okay, thank you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so I'll start by saying a very good morning, a very good afternoon, and a very good evening to my district governor, district chair, and fellow Rotarians, the role of and sustainability of ROTAKIDS. When we talk about local clubs, we're directly talking about Rota. Permit me to to go off my video, and that's because I have a power outbreak.
Are you there?
Yes, I'm there. Yes, so as I said, permit me to go off video. I have a power outrage, so it's practically dark in here and to be quite difficult for anyone to view me. So as I said earlier, it's important for the Rotary clubs to embrace that idea of chartering a club, a ROTAKIDS club, with the sole aim of catching the kids young. And this is inculcating the tenets of what Rotary stands for. And Rotary clubs, in chartering a ROTAKIDS club, just like the Rotary clubs, is responsible for 3 areas. And these 3 areas has been discussed extensively. So I'll just brush on it. And then what are these areas, you may ask? The first has to do with time. For us to effectively sustain any ROTAKIDS club, a Rotary club must, that's an appeal that must create time to not just charter the club, but also spend time to see that the club, the ROTAKIDS club that has been chartered, is being guided accordingly. So that means from time to time, members of the chartered club, we go to visit and see what the children are doing, how they are faring. So time is very important. We need to create time to see how they are doing. There are kids and there are the younger generations coming up. There is need for them to be guided from time to time. So time is very important. The next has to do with talent. Just like Rotarians, we Rotarians have the 3 T's that we must imbibe in becoming a full Rotarian. That's the same way we need to create not just the time, but this time around, talent. And by this talent, I mean experience. In the course of guiding the ROTAKIDS in their presentations, in their club meetings, in their thoughts and ideas in carrying out projects, our experience comes in place in guiding them accordingly. Our experience, by this I mean, we could decide to take them on a tour. And that tour is, you can take them to a fire station, for example. You know, it begins to build their creativity. It begins to build their knowledge bites on how to go about the occupational works of life as they grow up. We could decide to create time to take them to a hospital. We could decide to take out time to take them to the Senate or the House of any of the House of the Constitution. So the second, as I said, is talent. And then the third is treasure. Every Rotary club should also be able to support these kids, the ROTAKIDS, with their money. You may ask, how do you do this? At the beginning of every Rotary year, or in the preparation for the beginning of a Rotary year, clubs should set aside a token that is going to be given to the children, to the club that has been chartered. So a token is being given for them to effectively carry out their projects. Because just like in Rotary, without any projects being carried out, the club is referred to as a fund club. That is the same way as a ROTAKIDS club. Yes, there are kids, but they also need to learn how to carry out projects. And of course, they are not working to be able to generate funds on their own. So they have to come up with ideas of how to generate funds. And while they're coming up with such ideas, as the sponsoring club, it's advisable to encourage them by financing whatever projects they're carrying out. It may be in a ratio of 3:4, where a quarter is being brought by the children by virtue of maybe tasking their parents, and then the rest comes from the sponsoring club. So with this short little discourse, I'll just share it right now. And in summary, the most important way of sustaining any ROTAKIDS club is by investing in our time, in our treasure, and in our talents. Thank you.
Thank you, PP George. Thank you for your presentation. Time, treasure, and talent. Very key. Usually during a Rotary year, we have president nominees, president-elects, and all that. It would be nice if ROTAKIDS is part of your blueprint, even as a president-elect or a president nominee, because every decision made at the club level has to be discussed, either with EOD or with your club members. So if ROTAKIDS is part of your blueprint, it makes it easy for the club to decide, take a decision on how best they want to support the ROTAKIDS chartered in their clubs. Because most times the projects carried out by these children, especially those that have signages attached or some form of publicity, has the name of the sponsor club. So the credit still goes to the club, and it's usually stated sponsored by, for instance, Rotary Club of Jos. So being a sponsor is not just by text, in text, it's also in your treasure. So it'd be nice if a budget is set aside or decided upon, so that for every project that they need to carry out, they're part funded by the local sponsor club. So the funds will come from the sponsor club. It could also come from the parents, as we've all said, and it could come from the sale of proceeds from the sale of things they've made in their art class. It could be pottery, it could be beads, it could be paintings. You can just auction them to their parents and all that. So it's really nice. It's an appeal to local clubs, to our clubs, to include Rotary Kids deliberately and intentionally going forward. Thank you once again, PP, George Hemba. Like I've said, if you have any questions, you can drop them in the chat room at the end of the session. The questions will be answered. Quickly, we'll move on to our AZC, Winnie Fonaka. She would quickly be running through or giving us an insight on her experiences working with Rota Kids. She's one who we know has a passion for Rota Kids, and I'm sure she would like to share her experiences so far. So I'd like to call on our AZC, Winnie Fonaka, for her presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my district chair, Rotary Kids. I want to say kudos, you're doing a great job. So our DG is still in the house. Good evening, our DG. Fellow Rotarians, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Sorry, I have a power outage. No, not outage, it's a drop in current. You can see I'm in the dark. Okay, so I'll take off my video. I want to say you people are doing a great job. It's a beautiful one. I love Rotary Kids because I look at them, I see the future of Rotary. Rotary is struggling with membership. Membership year in, year out, the same story. And over time, I realized that many of us Rotary clubs, we go charter a Rota Kids club, and we don't pay that much attention, which breaks my heart. Some just go and charter for the heck of it. Let it be that we also have a Rota Kids club. And we need to do much more than that. Because when I look at these young children, I see the future of Rotary. Because between the ages of 7 to 12, they are very open to knowledge. They are open to new things. And that's the best time to get all the values that we want to drive into them. At that age, they are palleable. You can mold them into what you want them to be. So we have to be very, very intentional when chartering our Rota Kids Club. We have to take it as a serious commitment because we're not doing it for now. As much as we have fun with them, I mean, they are beauty to be with. Like Pipi Anu shared her experience when we started our Rota Kids Club in Parliament International School in Apo. The district governor was there, and I bet it was a day that everybody who came had fun. They were so exciting, so excited, and the excitement was all over. And so far, your club has done a good job at Care and Cuddles. Your Rota Kids Club is blazing the trail. I give it to you, Chair. You're never asleep on them. You're never asleep. And I'm appealing to you. Now it's an appeal. Please take a round, go around clubs. Those of us that already have Rota Kids Club, we are not really paying attention to them. As many projects as we do, we know there's our fun projects. Whatever we have to do with the kids, something that has to be fun. It has to be fun packed, fun loaded. Then you get their attention because their attention span can be so short. And if you're not doing something exciting, it's difficult to hold them down. So we should be able to package ourselves properly before chartering those clubs. Now, I've come to realize that we go out with in excitement, charter those clubs, and then second year, nobody shows up. I bet my club is slipping into that category. And this meeting, this webinar is like an awakening. For me, I'm glad my president-elect is in the house. I hope we're able to pick up our acts, tidy up, and get things going. Because, like I said, I look at them, I see the future of Rotary. And we need to start imbibing the values in them. We need to be serious. Like Pipi Annie said, if we do not increase our numbers, how do we increase the numbers? We can only increase the numbers by, not just by chartering new clubs and leaving them dormant, it's by getting the clubs active, that we attract other clubs to charter some more and make them as active as, you know, the ones that are existing. Because there's somebody, you remember your Rotary Kids Club, when they came for the World Polio book launch then, there was one guy from WHO. He cannot stop sharing his experience. I'm not happy that he didn't share one of those pictures that they showed up in charity. It was a beautiful outing. All the GPAI partners were excited about those children. And they came on and thanked all of them for being part of the certification that happened in Nigeria. So for me, it's been great. And I want every Rotarian to be able to have the experience. I have a flair for, I have a thing with children. We bond easily. I get into children's meets, they just want to, you know, we just get along. Children hardly reject me, and I just like, I mean, their innocence, their willingness to learn. to take in new things. I remember one of the kids asked me, he said, "Auntie," I said, "Yes." He said, he was in a senior class. He was one of the officials. He said, "So now, if I grow up next year, I won't be a member of ROTAKIDS again." It touched me, you know. I quickly thought, I said, "No, you move to the Interact Club," because we also have an Interact Club in the same school. You know, that shows he was really interested in what he was doing. And they're very committed. So we don't start these things and create that excitement and stop. It should be continuous. And it behoves on our club leadership. When we plan our projects for the Rotary year, we should be able to, like PP George said, should be able to carry them along. But many times we don't. We complain about money, 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 money. Like I said, it's not about the money. There's a little fun outings, fun projects, that if they're properly done, you'll be surprised at what could come from their parents. Because the parents should be able to see a change in the children, an improvement in their public speaking skills, in their manners, and all that. I know there are many schools, in many clubs in schools, but there are very few. Like all these our junior partners clubs, like the Rotaract, the Interact, and the ROTAKIDS. We have to be, you know, we have to focus on them. I think so much has been said, I can't say more than that. And I'd like to ask PP Annie. Annie, I miss you so much. But I'm happy you handed over to.
I miss you too, Ma.
Yes, yes. How is my girl?
She's good.
Okay. I wonder why my club is not on the ROTAKIDS world. Because you know it was there.
I will put it tonight.
But does it go in and come out? It was there. I put it myself. It was there for a while.
I don't. Maybe you should try again.
Yes, it's there. I don't think you have to register it again and again.
No. You know, if you put your mouse on one of them, I think it's behind K and Cuddles. Yeah.
Because you say you only saw two on the map, yes, and you called Makodia
behind K and Cuddles. So if you try to zoom it a little, double click on them, it will pop up. Because what is on top of us right now is Rotary Club of some club in Lekki, some Rotary Kids club in Lekki and Abia. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so very much. I'm glad you called me to share my experience. If I want to talk about Rotary Kids, I would take your whole evening. But my last word is, let us be intentional about Rotary Kids. As much as we go out, you know, prospecting for possible Rotarians, let's look at beyond now, the next 20 years, when we are all tired and, you know, can't do the things we do today, what will happen? Because if we mold them properly today, we'll be proud tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, my AZC. Thank you so much for your words of encouragement. Thank you for making it look very easy to work with children. It's actually very easy to work with children. They're very, very easy to, they're very impressionable, and they're very full of ideas. I always like to say that we as adults should not be the ones to impose project ideas on our children. Once we can explain and the 7 areas of focus to them at their level by themselves, they'll be able to, you know, bring up project ideas that are usually very affordable, very affordable. Sustainability, continuity is key. It's not nice when we start something and we don't see it through. It's not nice at all. And the ball is in our court. It's up to us. Thank you so much for encouraging us. Thank you for your time. If you have any questions, like I said, concerning what our AZC has said, you can also put them in, drop your questions in the chat room. I would call on Jane Edo. She's going to be talking about project ideas for ROTAKIDS. Sometimes we, even as adults, when we want to even suggest projects to children, it's very difficult to like think of projects through the eyes of a child. So she'll be suggesting project ideas to us so that peradventure the children don't bring ideas that we can actually carry out. We'll be able as adults to guide them properly. So I'll be calling on PP Jane Ebo to give her presentation. Thank you.
Good evening, my Rotary Chair. Good evening, our district governor. Good evening, all the Rotarians, all the speakers, those joining us from outside Nigeria. It's been a great night, a great day. You all spoke very well, very interesting and eye-opening. A lot I've learned tonight. I work with these kids. I don't even know much about this. I think this is a very great work we are doing. Thank you so much. I hope we'll be doing this more often so that we can increase our knowledge on this ROTAKIDS. Actually, some of the projects I will, you know, the first speaker went into some of the projects, but I think I just want to suggest a few of them. Like in the communities, we've talked about tree planting. They could also beautify the communities, even the school compound, by planting flowers, not just trees, making them to have ownership of it. You tell them that each person that plants this tree or these flowers, you give it a name: rose flower, bougainvillea, hibiscus. You watch it grow, flowers, and even fruits, economic fruits. They could plant economic fruits and watch it grow, and they can harvest it and sell it and raise money. You're also teaching them economic and empowerment, because there are some oranges that fruit in 6 months. And if they do that, within that school year they can harvest it the next year and sell it in the school compound or to their parents. We can introduce them to that. Other things you can also introduce them is going to the hospitals, maybe with a Rotarian who is like a guide to them, to visit the children's ward. That will make them to be thankful that they are well and healthy. And sometimes you go to those children's ward, some of them can't even pay their bills. They cannot buy medication. So they can also raise funds. Any day they want to go into such place, they raise funds. And how can they do fundraising? They could go to the mall, maybe on a Saturday that they don't go to school, with the help of a guide, standing with them, and they hold these cans. You know, these cans we use in putting money as children. Hold it there and right there, fundraising for children in the hospital. So as people go in and out, they can be dropping whatever they have. At the end of the day, they open this can with the help of an adult. Whatever is being raised, they get to this hospital and say that we are Rotary Kids from this community or from this school. We have come to see any child in this ward that cannot pay hospital bill. And this is what we have brought for the contribution to support either the medication or the feeding of that child. That is one. Then other ones, they could do recycling of their old books. Like we talked about IDP tonight. When they go to IDPs, some of those people in the IDPs, they don't have books. They don't have a eraser, duster, all those. So a project they could also do, they could sew these dusters themselves. They use their old books that they don't use again, recycle it, take it to the IDPs and say, we're donating these books to some of you who cannot get books to read. It could be story books, it could be paintings, and with crayons, because they have, some of them have a lot of crayons that at the end of that school year, they don't even use it. They are so short and half and pencils. When they gather all that, that could be a project. As they go donate it, you make it, you publicize it by calling the press to pick it up, that this Rotary Kids from this community or from this school has gone to IDP to donate their books that they don't use again, or the class they have passed, donate it to the next class in that IDP. That could be a project that they will do. Another one they could do also is teach them how to bake. We've talked about bead making, yes, and even crochet, knitting with your crochet pin. As a child, I did a lot of that. And I was selling it to my elder sisters, my mom's friends were buying it. And I was making a lot of money with that, So sometimes when I remember those things, I was asking myself, I started making money at a very young age, I don't know why. I just like thinking of something to make me make money. So you teach them how to do this knitting with crochet. They do it, they use it as chair cover, table cover, even newborn baby blankets. They do this at their own leisure time or when they are meeting. Every school has time for social, maybe 30 minutes in a Friday or Thursday. They give them 30 minutes for social. During that social, everybody go to the different group you belong to. So those Rotary kids, you can teach them how to do knitting in that period. And when they produce this, their knitting, they sell it and raise money for their funding. And during that social also, you teach them how to bake. You catch them young. As they start baking young, it will help them even in their career because my children, they are all boys, but they all come first in their school, in home economics, that the teachers will always ask, we have the girls in this class that boys are always coming first in home economics. All of them made A's in their home economics and won the best. So you teach them young because I just teach them all this baking, all these things, cooking, fried rice, all this. There are things you think they should know, but they don't know. So once in a while, you make them come to school. During that social, you get those materials and teach them how to do it. As they finish doing it, they sell it back to their parents or to their teachers or to even the Rotarians that are supervising them. The money they raise, they use it to carry out a project. I saw where they did signage, sign, those, it's a very great and wonderful project. Those things, do money from there. Then they can go to the park. Maybe on a weekend, all of them go there and pick up the decks in the park. Because sometimes you see these parks, after people use it, it's so dirty. If those who are meant to clean it are not there. So this Rotary Kid can take it as a project. One Saturday, they all go to a popular park and pick all the decks there. Just pick them, have their buckets or bags, pick all the decks. As they are doing it, you are taking photographs of them. You are documenting it. That is a project they have done. They have kept an environment clean for that day, for those who will come to meet a clean environment. And you are teaching them also how to be self-reliant, self-confident, to know that it's not good to live in a dirty environment, that your environment should be clean any time. Not just to the park, they can also go to some Rotarians' homes and do same, cleaning their compound. We call it bomber job. As they just go and clean their compound, maybe sweep or wash their cars, they give them some stipends. That stipends goes to their money to carry out any projects they want to do. They also can join during polio. I was so excited and happy when I heard that during polio they participated. During polio, they could also be one of the observers, following the workers to see what is really happening on such days, to see how babies are being immunized, to see how the recording on the houses, all those things are being documented. It will go along with, as they are growing into interacting to Rotary, and they will know that they started this young and this is something they are supposed to do as they grow. And it's giving them the opportunity to be self-reliant, confident, and holding a leadership position. Because when you give them this kind of jobs to do, they know that anywhere they found themselves, they can cope, they can fit in. And once in a while, there is this program they have in the UN, during March, during the CSW, they encourage organizations to come with children. During this period, the Rotary can organize Rotary Kids to go for the sitting in the United Nations and be part of what is happening there. One of the days, they can take one of the days, register ahead of time. They make arrangements, those who can get visa, those who can travel, they go there and make their impact and do presentation in the United Nations. That is a serious project. Some organizations do that, taking children down to the UN. But if Rotary Kids can also be represented there, I think it's a very big project. And how they can do it, they can also raise funds for that project themselves, not even wanting their parents. By doing this, they are being, doing recycling. When it comes to health also, they could have exercise, like using their bicycle. One day, all of them come out that we're going to ride bicycle for 30 minutes or for 1 hour, or do a walk, walking from their school to a particular roundabout or whatever with the guide of an adult. So they have done something to do with health by doing so. So there is a lot of projects they can do, not just projects that will make impact in the community and people seeing them. It's also a way of advertisement, making impact in the community. People will ask, who are these kids? Who are they? They say they are Rotary kids. How can my child become a member? So even in the community, people will want to. That is the way of selling the products to those who are yet to know it. Because a lot of people, when we chartered an interact club, people started asking me, can't we do that in primary school? And I didn't even know that they have Rotary Kids until last year. You see, so, and I started talking to them. Maybe before the end of this year, you hear that we have chartered a lot of Rotary Kids. We also have what they could do by drawing, painting, and doing competition, like debates. You pick a serious topic for them, while the girl child should not be abused, or while the girl and the boys are equal. Pick a serious, challenging topic. Let them write essay on it. And as they write essay, the best should be appreciated and they're rewarded. That will encourage them to start writing. That even tells them how to start writing books, novels, and projects at a young age. They can also organize beauty pageants. Both the boys and girls will participate, not just girls. Both boys and girls will participate in beauty pageants at that age. And as they do it, you may people to come and watch them by paying little money, and that money goes to their cause for their project. Other things they could also do, go to old people's home, maybe sing. We learned that would have given us, Lekki would have given us a song tonight, but there was no time. They could go to old people's home to entertain them by singing for them, making them feel loved and care, spending time with them, maybe 1 hour, 30 minutes, because some of them are lonely wherever they are. So when these kids visit them, it's still a project because they've gone to put smiles in the faces of people who are lonely, who are just left in a home or similar place. When these girls come, these children come, sing for them, dance for them, it will lighten their mood, and it's a project. So there are a lot of projects they could do, recycling of their old clothes, the clothes they have, that is, they parents could gather when they have those projects. It's okay, we are taking this into orphanage home. As they take it to the orphanage home, it's also a project for them because they have touched life. It's all about touching life, putting smiles on the face of the downtrodden, making people happy, making impact in your society. And as they grow, they know that from that age, that they can share whatever they have with those who does not have. That is also showing them to know that it's good to be good, and it's good not to be greedy. You are teaching them how to appreciate one another. So there are so many projects they could do. When it comes to the community also, they could go to a court. Parents and their coordinator, whatever, can take them to a court sitting and see how cases are being said in a court. They spend 30 or 1 hour in a court sitting, maybe just listening to one full case. That will also show them how to choose their careers in life. Okay, this is a court, this is a lawyer, these are the victims, these are, whatever. As they do, also take them to prison, corrective centers, because we have the ones for the youth. You can take them to the juvenile department, so they see that these people have committed crime and they are being secluded from the society. That will also make them to appreciate the freedom they have. And that will let them to know that it's not good to commit crime or do what is not right. That will make you to be brought, to be judged or to be sentenced or to be kept secluded from the society. So there are a lot of things they could do and projects they could do that will bring money for them and also enlighten them and also educate them. Not just money, but educating them to know that catch them young is very good. So as they're growing up, they see themselves becoming that president, that governor, that minister, that ROI president, that district governor, that zonal coordinator, that president, that one day they will get to that level, that senator, that House of Rep, So you are building their confidence by making them do this themselves. Because sometimes when they are not exposed to most of these jobs, they think it's all rosy. When you make them do some of these jobs, they feel, oh, so people who have been doing this, they paid them, but today nobody paid us. Rather, we did it to support our community, our society, our school. So there are a lot of projects that they could do. Sometimes they could also recycle their toys they have in their home. You just tell all of them your toys are no more using the garage. Either they just use it and do American option to raise fund, or to donate it to IDP camp or even the motherless babies home, the orphanage home, so that they will also have a touch of those. So I think these are some of the projects.
I think she's breaking her network. Let's give her some time, see if she reconnects again.
I think they can do
It seems to have a problem with the network.
Let's give her some time.
She's gone
Okay.
off network. She's not there.
Okay. So Jane has, in fact, I have been jotting away. I have a full page of project ideas. Some that I never even thought about. It's been wonderful. It's been wonderful. I'm sure if we can just settle down and think and rub minds with our children, we would be able to come up with ideas. And if you noticed, some ideas that she came up with were projects that don't require any funding. They don't require any funding. So it's not everything that requires funding. There are projects that can be carried out under areas of focus that do not require any money. So I want to thank PP Jane for her presentation. It's been wonderful. It's clear that she really thought deeply about this, because I'm sure it wasn't just coming off the top of her head. She prepared for this. I want to appreciate her. We have so many questions in the chat room, and most of them I would like to direct to PP Annie. Most of them are to PP Annie. The question here, someone is asking if a Rotaract club can charter a Rota Kid club.
I'm so sorry, no. It must be from a Rotary club, not a Rotaract or not an Interact. I'm sorry. It's not possible. Yeah.
Okay.
So I would just like to add with this. Earlier, I appreciate that Rotaract were not able to charter, but from this year onwards, Rotaract clubs have been given the powers to sponsor a new Rotaract club also. So I think we can redo a thinking that Rotaract club should be able to charter a ROTAKIDS, we can rethink on that with the change scenario in the Rotary scene, because now Rotary clubs are full members of Rotary International and not through a sponsor club as earlier. So this has to be given a thought. That's my view.
I will have to check back and get back to district chair.
Yeah.
Because these are children we are dealing with.
Okay, so I hope you've noted it down, PP and
yes.
Rotary clubs, chattering, Rotary Kids. Question one. The next, yeah. So the next question is somebody's asking, is registration going on in Uganda?
The only one on the Rota Kids in the world is Zambia, Tanzania, and South Africa. But why not? It would be nice if Rota Kids gets to Uganda. So the person can actually get information from you how to charter a Rota Kid. Why not? It would be nice. That would be the first Rota Kid in Uganda. So yes, you can bring the Rota Kids to Uganda.
So I hope the person asking the question has their appropriate response. We have a question that's actually directed to you. Thank you so much, Rotarian Abasanga. That was very okay. My question is, do we report projects through our sponsors or directly? If directly, how do we go about it? So,
for example, Rota Kids have a project on, let's say, basic education and literacy, donating books to let's say, for instance, IDP camp or another school or a public school coming from a private school. You have to report the project in your portal. So it will state the Rotary Club of Jos Central in partnership with Rota Kids of blah, 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 had a project on basic education and literacy, and you state your case. Yes, it's a win-win for Rota Kids and for Rotary clubs. So it has to be reported under your Rotary portal.
Okay, so I think aside reporting on the portal, I think in our district, I was speaking with the public image chair, and she was saying that we know we have a District 9125 Facebook page, and I'm sure other districts who have their Facebook pages. So she actually gave a guideline on how to do your reporting. First of all, 5 action photographs. So if a project is carried out, you give 5 action photographs. Action means showing them doing something.
Activities.
And then, yes, then there'll be a caption that says location, the beneficiary, and what the project is about. And the location and all that, yes.
In the reporting of a project, you can actually tag Rota Kids in the world. They have a Facebook page too. So when you go on the Rota Kids in the world Facebook page, your project pops up too.
Yes, so basically, we're encouraged to take clear shots of our project, and our project have to be intentional and in line with the several areas of focus. It's very important. So most times it's a guide per month, but it could be done randomly, but everything should focus on a project focus on several areas of focus.
Please, I have something before your question, before I forget. Let's say, for instance, a Rota Kids Club wants to do a billboard on whatever. Please, please, please. Rota Kids is being sponsored by a Rotary Club, and Rotary International is the top of the game. So your billboard has to carry Rotary logo, your club logo, the sponsor club logo, and the name of the club. It would be nice. Then the Rota Kids logo. I know the school too. School wants to sell their own logo too, but why not? The logo but the most important logo on the billboard is Rotary logo and the Rota Kids logo. Please.
Yeah. Very important.
So because Rotary is already a brand, when you see the Rotary logo, you're attracted. So what's next?
True. Someone is asking, there's another question, sorry. Okay, I would like to ask, for children who want to join kids in one club as chartered, is it possible? I mean, when they are not pupils of the school that has chartered club. I think this person is trying to say is, if a Rotary Kids club has been chartered in a school, can external people, is that what they mean?
Yes.
Can external people come and join the Rotary Kids club from us?
I'm sorry, no, because the school is responsible for their children. So bringing another kid, no, it's not possible. I don't think it's possible now.
So I think that the children that want to join are already in schools, most likely. So I think it's nice to go
to their own school.
At their own school.
So if they bring the idea and say they talk to their teachers, they talk to their parents, the parents will contact Rotary, but that's why it's a school-based or it's a community-based. If the child can actually get membership in their community, it will be fine. But the kids of the school is responsible for their own children and the sponsor club and Rotary International and the district. So no.
Okay, I have a question. How is a community-based Rotary club? Who's responsible for community-based Rotary Kids club?
Okay, you know how we have community cup. So it's still the Rotary Club that is responsible. So we have, let's say for instance, our adopted village is Karamajiji or Kuchingoro. Is a community. There's a community club there. So it's still the Rotary Club that's still responsible for the community-based club. So the Rotary Club can go to their adopted village and say, we want to charter a Rota Kids in this community.
The community, okay.
Yes.
As long as they have a meeting venue and all that, and
exactly.
Their parents can sign the consent form and all that.
You have to break it down for them to understand that this is how it works. It's different when you go to a community. You have to break it down and say, this is what it is. This is what it is. You have to sign the consent. They have to have a guardian, or if their parents are not there, but they have to sign the consent form. You have to break it down. The club has to be responsible. The community cup in the club, if they have, has to be responsible for them too.
Okay. Okay, I think I've gone to, thank you so much for your time answer, your responses rather. I've gone through the entire chat room and I think those are the questions that have been asked. I think we're done with the question and answer section. I don't know if there's anything any of our speakers wants to, something that popped up in your head now that you may want to share.
Can I say my last words before I go? I have to go.
Okay.
AG Winnie said it all. We charter Rota Kids Club, we abandoned them. I know how I struggled for years. It's time consuming. That's Rotary. Rotary is treasure, talent, and time. We just have to not charter Rota Kids because we want to get awards. We want to be among the people that have Rota Kids. It's time, patience. It's everything. It's give it all. With Rota Kids, it's give it all. We have to have passion for them. We have to put them in our budget in the club, at club level. The club has to be interested. It's so easy. Last Rotary year, we had joint assembly. Why not? You bring your Interact, your Rotaract, your Rota Kids Club. Let them call your meeting to order. At least a lot of other people that are not opportune to see what other members of the club. And sometimes you can actually say, okay, the coordinator for Rota Kids, you have to come to our club, pick 2 or 3 members this week, you take them to the meeting. 2 or 3 members. So if every member has an idea what Rota Kids is, it's really fun. I love Rota Kids. I'm sorry, but it's my legacy. So there's nothing I can do about it. There's so much passion, there's so much fun with these children. They are so intelligent. You'll be amazed what they can come up with. So please, it's not just to charter the Rota Kids. Let's sustain them like we sustain membership. And it can be overwhelming too. The numbers are really high. We can't stop them. We can't say, okay, we can just take 50 members. We can, and when it comes to outings too, it's a problem because a parent will say, why is my child not in that presentation? So it's really difficult. So it has to be leveled. It has to be a win-win. Maybe this project, this group of children go and represent the project next, because some kids don't really have the opportunity to go out to anywhere. And sometimes the school is not buoyant, or the club you cannot take 50 children at the same time. It's not possible.
No, you can't. Yeah, at our school, we actually have a roster. So
exactly,
if we do project 1 and 10 children go, the next time another 10.
So every child needs to have that experience of going out, of participating in a particular project. And I want to plead for every project that you do, please let the parents be involved too. It's fun.
Yes, very key.
The parents are amazed, and it will actually bring parents to become Rotarians. It's easy. It's an easy catch for Rotary too. For foundation, for projects, for membership, that's Rotary. So if we can make their parents set out time, and their parents leave their offices. I did projects where the parents left their offices and attended those projects. When we did fundraising,
they're involved, they're interested.
Yes, when we did fundraising, the kids went into the crowd and were selling the beads to different parents on the spot, and they raised, I think it was over 50,000 or more.
Yes, 50,000, yes.
So why not involve the parents, involve the school, involve the Rotary Club is really responsible for these children. And it's not, I'm president this year. I love ROTAKIDS. The next year, another president comes. It's not my business. I'm not interested. It's a long-term thing. You're preparing the children to become to become Rotarians at the end of the day. I know people that I met that they'll say, do you know I was an Interact club? I joined Rotaract, but now I'm a Rotarian. A lot of Rotaractors know Rotary better than Rotarians. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. So catch them young. Let the clubs really have to be involved. A lot of Rota kids have died. Nobody hears about them. They just do one project. The clubs don't talk about the Rota kids. Nobody's interested. It's not just the job of the president. It's not just the job of the service project chair. Every member should be involved. It's easy. It's time consuming, but it's fun. That's Rotary. So every member does not have to say, okay, we are 50 members. We're all going for this project. If we say, for me, is it really important when you as a Rotarian go to a Rota Kids club and see them preside? It's amazing. And they really know how to call their meetings to order. So I'm as Mama ROTAKIDS for the first, how many ROTAKIDS have they chartered this Rotary? None?
One that I'm aware of. It's about to happen.
I am aware of. Okay, I will give 50,000 for their first project.
Oh, thank you very much.
So just to encourage them, just let me know when they're about to do their first projects. I'm interested. Why not? Call me up at any time. When it's as long as it's ROTAKIDS, I'm at your service.
Thank you.
So for their first
Before
project,
you go, one final question, please. I want to ask if these ROTAKIDS to have registered numbers in RI as Rotarians too. You've already answered that question.
Yeah, like I said, right now,
yes.
ROTAKIDS is not in RI. We're trying to build the numbers. That is why we have to go to ROTAKIDS in the world to put the numbers there. It pops up. It's there. How many members do you have at ROTAKIDS? It's there. 50. You put it up there. So it's still in the council of whatever in Rotary. So they're still trying to see if, because you have to be responsible for those children. When it comes to children, it's delicate. It's a delicate issue. So please, and for consent is really, really important. Some parents don't, and it's there. in the checkbox. If you don't want your child to appear in any pictures, please check the box. And you can actually write under it, I don't want my child to appear in any picture. So when the clubs are posting picture, when the school is posting picture, when you're, please pay attention. A lot of people don't like their children on social media, regardless of whatever organization they join. So please pay attention to the pictures that you post.
Very, very important.
Because they can come to you and say, why is my child's picture there? I did not sign that consent letter. Why did you take my child out? I did not sign that. You have to tell them, we take the children out, we go here. And before you do a project, or when the project is cooking, you have to tell the parents where their kids are going to. So if you say you're taking my child to a prison, it's okay for me, but another parent is like a red flag. Why are you taking my child to prison? What message are you trying to pass? Yes, I'm trying to tell them it's not everybody that's in prison that has committed a crime. Sometimes it's wrong judgment. Sometimes it's mistaken identity. So you have to explain to them, this is what it is. I have to take, the children are going to prison. This is what the aim and objective is for. If you don't want your child, for me, I think when you're taking the children to maybe, for example, prison, you have to tell the parents to give consent.
Yes. The fact that they signed the consent form is not.
It's not enough. Yes.
It's not blanket. Yes.
Yeah.
There's some. Yeah. Very, very important. Like she said, she has emphasized over and over again. The children. Parents are very particular about their children.
Yes.
As much as want them to be Rota kids, there's some things that even it's not rocket science. We just have to be very sensitive and very considerate about some things and cover all parameters to avoid any misconceptions or any litigations. Nobody wants to go to court because of Rota Kids Club.
And one last thing, it would be nice too if you put the children on media.
Yeah.
I know it's expensive or how we get around it, but a lot of Rotary clubs call NTA, AIT, and the rest of it. It would be nice if we watch our children on air. It sells a lot.
So the emphasis now is on registering properly on ROTAKIDS in the world, so that we have our numbers and eventually we recognize the Rotary International as
we are praying
the first step to becoming a Rotarian. Okay. We have Rotarian, I think this PPJ, her hand is raised. She has a question. Ma, you went off air. I think you had a problem with your network at some point.
My phone, you went off. You know, so sorry about that. That's part of what I want to apologize. I think a call came in and the call just cut me off. Actually, I didn't round up, but anyway, she has said it all. You know, in my conclusion was to say that no project they do without the consent of their parents and even their teachers and the coordinator, that is the Rotary Club that is chartering them. And also the media she made mention is part of my conclusion that whatever they do, we should always let the media carry it. That is another way of advertisement, knowing that Rotary is working and they have this avenue for the kids, not just the big ones, even the younger ones. So a whole family could be part of Rotary. Your 7 to 12 could be Rotary Kids. Your interact could be those in secondary school. And so at every stage in your life, any of your children, any of your family could be part of the Rotary family. So that is what I wanted to say in conclusion. And I also want to get that consent forms and all those, because we are trying to charter one now in Jos, but we don't even have all those materials. Like I said, tonight's meeting is like an eye opener for us. So maybe after we private chat you, we get those things we need to charter so that I can hand it over to my president and he knows what to do about it, because they told me, please, when you get to the meeting, get us those information so that we know what to do, so that we don't go outside the box. So I said today's meeting is big eye opener, and I want to appreciate everybody who has spoken and the Rotaract Mama. Thank you so much.
Chair, I think what you should do, maybe you send the links out for the consent form, everything, put them together in PDF, and just send it out to maybe the Zone 22 platform, to presidents if you can, and let them just have it.
Yes, I will. Yeah, I will.
Send it to presidents if you have their numbers. Just send it out. Maybe after every 3 months, you send it out. You can have presentations about Rota Kids in different clubs. You can say today, you should have a target and say, I really want to charter 10 Rota Kids club. It would be nice.
I will. And I'm happy we've had this webinar so that when I'm going around, it's making more sense. And outside District 912, because I know we have visiting Rotarians from around the world, they are more informed now, and they know that it's not even a big deal anymore. I'm willing to give out the information to anybody outside the district that outside the district that wants like samples of those documents is available, and then within the district also. PPJ, thank you so much. Like I said, we have a full page of projects lined up. I can't wait to hit the ground running. It's no longer about my club anymore. It's about the district. So every information I've gotten now, I have to share to everybody, and that we can replicate everything we've said in the club. It would be nice to hear that 20 Rotary Kids clubs are doing the same project simultaneously cutting across the district, and they have pictorial evidence to show for it. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
And membership certificates too for them. Every Rota Kid should have a membership certificate. We can try and do pins, Rota Kid pins.
Okay,
it's easy.
Yes.
We can turn our Rotary bells to Rota Kid bells.
Yeah,
we make lapels for them as their first gift.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
they are fundraising.
Yeah,
the Rota pins, we can sell them we can make their parents buy them. And then it's fundraising as a token. So it's, wonderful ideas being shared today. I'm so excited. Thank you everybody for showing. Thank you for all your wonderful ideas and everything. We really appreciate the DG. I'm sure he's left for taking our time to be part of this. It's a sign of solidarity. He has assured us of support at any time. Anytime we need he has assured us that Rota Kids is top on his agenda as well. I want to appreciate Rotarian VJ. He's been wonderful in the background, making sure that this webinar was a success. I really appreciate you, sir. He's an honorary member of our club, and he's just been wonderful. To my speakers, I say thank you. To my committee members, I say thank you. To Rotarians that made up time to come, I say thank you. I'm sure PAG Leke is itching to sing a song, I'm very sure. So I'm going to call on PAG Leke to sing a song so that we can.
Can you give a copy of the Rota Kids? They have a songbook, so you can give one to Rotarian Jane to replicate. Yes. It was made by our able PAG Leke for free. Yes. He donated it to us.
Yes, so I will share that too. He even has a new song that's a debut. So I'm sure that's the song he's going to be. PAG Leke, are you there?
He's there, I can see him.
My PAG. I want to thank Rotarian, PP George, he's been wonderful. PP Annie, PP Jane, AZC, Winnie Bonacat, Rotarian Charity, for your time, your talent, and everything. Is PAG there? PAG Leke, are you there, sir?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here with you.
Yes, sir, we're ready for your song. Yes, so to round up, we're giving you an opportunity to sing your song, your new release.
Well, can this be put on the screen?
Okay, let me transfer. I can share my screen.
That's the Rota Kid anthem.
Yeah. Rotarian VJ, I'm finding difficult to see my this thing. Okay. Yes, so I have it on. Can we see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
You see, because there won't be enough time to go from one school or one community to the other, teaching them some new songs or whatever. We decided to have a Rota Kid anthem, which goes along the line of one of the 3 most popular Rotary songs. That's It's a Small World. It's a small world after all. It's a small world after all. It's a small world after all. It's a small, small world. So we just adapted this as a ROTAKID anthem, and it goes to the tune of It's a Small World. So I just go, we start with the chorus. ROTAKIDS the way to go. ROTAKIDS the future holds. ROTAKIDS the ultimate. ROTAKIDS are pride. ROTAKIDS are hope. ROTAKIDS the key for kids to grow into adulthood. Self-respect, self-esteem, confidence, all about ROTAKIDS. We'll take you there. Then the chorus, and after the chorus, we go to the second verse. No, so that is just it. And I'm sure by the time this is circulated around, and they know that it goes with the tune of It's a Small World. Even some school children who are not who don't have anything to do with Rotary, they sing this small word. It is even in parties and this and that. So it's just been adapted to fit into what ROTAKIDS is all about, what to expect from ROTAKIDS, and what the future holds for ROTAKIDS. ROTAKIDS taught us to be fair to all, to lend our hands, helping young and old, in our school, at our home, and in our community. We will give to charity. That's all that ROTAKIDS is all about. Thank you, my district chair, and thank you, my fellow Rotarians. Thank you.
Thank you, my PhD. Thank you. It's a very simple song. It's a small word after all. The words are there. Security as much as we can. Probably add it to our ROTAKIDS manual so that everybody has it, and then we can sing it and make it a famous song among our ROTAKIDS. So on that note, I want to thank everyone once again for your time, for your participation and contributions towards the success of this webinar. Thank you so much. I don't know if anybody has anything to say again, or in the absence of nothing or anything, I would like to close this webinar. And I pray that the passion and the zeal that's been exhibited here will be replicated in our different clubs going forward. I hope for a wonderful Rotary year, and I pray for a very good report at Rotary year also. We may be having another webinar to give a report on progress made and the impact of this first webinar on ROTAKIDS membership and projects that have been executed. Thank you so much, and God bless us all.
Thank you very much, District Chair.
Thank you, Rotarian.